thank you. And it's glad to be here at the Spiritual Church of Awareness. And I'm hoping you have a great day today. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is one of the spiritual founders that I consider, and that would be Emma Hardinge, Britten. She came to America in 1855. She was a founding member of the Theosophical Society with Madame Blavatsky. And she came up with the 10 commandments, or the 10 spiritual commandments, and the first 7 principles of spiritualism during a seance. Now, I've traveled a lot throughout spiritual camps in America. If you get up to Maine, they will tell you that Harrison Barrett came up with the first 3 spiritual principles in a witchcraft trial recess, proving that spiritualism was a religion. But proof to actually find that information is scattered someplace. So let's stick with Miss Britten. Now, Emma Hardinge Britten was also given the 10 laws of right, which I consider moral wisdom. And that's what I want to talk to you today about, is the 10 laws of right. And the first, let me back up a little bit. Now, the 10 laws of right, I believe, coincide with the principle number 7, that we all have a moral responsibility to own up to our own happiness or unhappiness by following nature's physical and natural laws. So the first law of right is temperance. And temperance in all things, whether they be physical, mental, moral, affectional, or religious. So temperance, basically it means balance and moderation. That we want to maintain our temperance and not go too far left or too far right. The second law of right is what we call justice to all creatures. Justice being the exercise of precisely the same rules of life applied to everybody. And that includes your conduct, your thought, or your speech, that we would desire others to obey. Okay? Basically, the golden rule. All right? Do unto others as they will do unto you. And that is one of the principles of spiritualism that we should all apply. Okay? You can go to a lot of spiritual camps and they're all basically the same, but to try to find a spiritual person, okay, sometimes it's difficult. All right, but we want to be justice to all creatures. And then Plato would even say that Earth is a living creature. And we have to, so that's all of nature that we have to be all grateful for. Everybody has to be grateful. Okay? So we have to treat Mother Earth as if she is a living creature. The third law of right is gentleness. Gentleness in speech and act. In speech and act. Never needlessly wounding the feelings of others by harsh words or deeds, never hurting or destroying aught that breathes, save for the purposes or sustenance of self-defense. So, gentleness. I'm driving down the highway one time, okay, and there's a Christian billboard up there, "Thou shalt not kill." All right, and it probably had something to do with abortion or something. But we have to look at this all right, our acts and deeds. And especially our words, like, thou shalt not kill, but you don't have to kill people. You can kill dreams. How many people with harsh words kill dreams? Right? Especially the children that we are raising. You know, you're not good enough. Right? That'll never work out. Why bother even trying? All right? We've all heard these things. The fourth law of right is truth. Truth in every word or thought spoken or acted, but reservation of harsh or unpleasing truths where they would necessarily wound the feelings of others. All right, so truth. How many people gossip? Right? Tends to be a natural tendency. And how many people lie? You know, this is the truth. And I've heard some people, even my mentor, that white lies don't harm anybody. Even my mother would say that, if anybody can see her. It's, okay, white lies, all right, they'll come around and get you eventually. So, and the gossiping will too. But we have to look at truth. And when we speak especially, you know, we want to use the law of silence. Like we want to take a step backwards sometimes and think about what we're going to say. There is a Sufi teaching, and the Sufi is an ancient Islamic sect over in Iran. But they have what they call the four gates. And this is what we want to use before we speak. And the four gates are, is it true? Okay. How many people have a TV? How many listen to that news, right? It's like, you know, I haven't had a TV because of that for 2 years because I don't want that negativity coming out at me. But we all have to have that gift of discernment to figure out what is truth. Okay, so the first gate, is it true? The second gate, is it nice? All right? When we speak, it's true, but we want to be nice about it. The third gate, is it necessary? All right? It's like my mother, you see her here again. Right? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Everybody's heard this stuff. But put the first three gates into perspective. If my wife comes out of the closet, she's got a dress on, and she's got another one in this hand, and she says, does this look nice on me? Now, you know, probably, you know, I can be true, but I don't have to be nice or necessary. And I can say, no, that dress makes you look fat. Whoops. Well, it's true, you know, but didn't pass the next two gates. All right? So the better reply was, I think you'd look better than the other one. Okay. So, and then the fourth gate, and this is important, does it improve upon the silence? And again, if you don't have anything nice, true, or necessary to say, just don't say it at all. But the law of silence is very powerful. All right, the fifth law of right is what Emma Britten calls charity. And charity in thought, striving to excuse the failings of others, charity in speech, veiling the feelings of others, charity in deeds, whenever, wherever, and whomever the opportunity offers. So charity in thought. We want to excuse the failings of others. If they fall down, we want to help them up and get them on their path again. All right? But there's a thing about how many times are we going to help them up? They eventually have to start walking themselves. And in the Bible, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13, Apostle Paul would say, "And now abideth faith, hope, charity. These three, but the greatest of these is charity." And most other translations would replace charity with love. So the greatest is charity. What can we do to help people? And then the sixth law of right is almsgiving. Visiting the sick and comforting the afflicted in every shape our means admit of. And the necessities of our fellows, or what our fellows or creatures demand. So, visiting the sick and comforting those who are in need of help. Almsgiving. Now, I grew up Catholic, so we all had our 40 days of Lent in the springtime. And then usually when I was growing up, we'd give up candy because then the Easter Bunny comes. That's, what's expected. All right? So as I grew up later in the Catholic Church, it's, it's giving up something is what Lent is. And then later on, I learned that you could replace that giving up stuff with almsgiving every day. So, and that's helping people. And just a random act of kindness is typically all you need to do each day. It's opening a door for somebody, smiling at somebody. I mean, I opened a door the other day for somebody, and the lady said, "Oh, there's still, or chivalry still exists." You go, what? No, I don't know. So almsgiving is important. It comes from our heart. But really, visiting the sick, okay, or those shut-ins, that's important to get their lives, what I would call, back into respect. Okay? It's visiting the sick. It is something that, as any minister should do it, and I don't think it's done that much. I mean, healing circles work great, but actually visiting the sick is something that is necessary. Right. Seventh law of right is self-sacrifice. Whatever the interests of others are to be benefited by our endurance. Okay? We all have our soul path. We all know what it is. Usually it happens to be of some type of healing or service type aspect. That's what your soul path is about, being of service. You just have to figure out what your soul path is in your own heart. But the Buddha would also say the pathway to enlightenment is to find the cause of suffering. Okay, let me tell you this. Self-sacrifice doesn't mean suffering. And when Buddha said that, he meant it on world affairs, like countries shouldn't be beating up each other, not on your own personal affairs. So you have to look at it in a positive attitude that you don't have to suffer. The only time you're going to suffer is two things. You allow it, or you put it on yourselves. So, all right, we've got to get all this courage and our self-confidence moving forward. All right, the eighth law of right is temperance. Yet firm defense of our views of right and protest against wrong, whether to ourselves or others. All right, again, this is moderation. It's like Mother Teresa would say, I'm not going to go to an anti-war rally, I'm going to go to a peace rally. Okay? So we all have our views of right and where we should be. But it's moderation. I have a friend who works in the city of Delong, and he is a medium in his own right. But as he goes to work, then people would come to him and ask him if he was a medium, and he would deny it, just like Peter would deny Jesus. And you're saying, why would you want to, not defend your own right? Okay? We have to look at being temperate in our own beliefs. Okay? We can't step aside because other people don't believe in what we're doing. Right? The 9th law of right is what we call industry. In following the calling that we are engaged in, or devoting some portion of our time, when otherwise not obliged to do so, to the service and benefit of others. So again, it's that industry, what we are involved in. And we have to put that to the greatest potential of following our soul path. But also the service and benefit of others. Now we have to figure, what are we doing? Helping others, spiritual counseling, healing, teaching. Teaching is a big thing. And then Emma Britten's 10th law of right is love. And as we know, above and beyond, love is what the universe is all about. It has to do with our families, our kindred, our friends, and amongst all of humanity generally, the spirit of that true and tender love, which can think, speak, and act no wrong to any living creature, remembering always that where love is, the other principles of right are fulfilled beneath its influence and embodied in its emotions. Right? Embodied in its emotions. Like we have to feel what we're doing. We have to feel that love, feel that purpose. And if you go within, you can do that. Those are the principles of right. Love trumps everything. It's just like when we look at our spiritual principles. Number one, we believe in infinite intelligence. Pretty much that trumps everything. Okay? It is everything, all combined, that oneness, that infinite intelligence. And a lot of what I talked today was about thoughts. Thoughts are our most powerful asset that we have. All right? It can play our monkey mind and mess up our intuition and all that stuff, or we can send these positive thoughts out like healing. But it all comes to remembering who you are. And that's, we are all part of that infinite intelligence. But we're influenced by a lot of things. We're influenced by, on our soul contract, who we came in to be. All right, we chose our parents, and then after that, they chose our religion, they chose our education. And all those have trust and control influences upon what makes our own soul progress. All right, so we look at, our parents. That's where we can get all our pretty much ethics as we grow up. That would be a positive aspect, but there's negative aspects too, as far as any biases or racial influences that are based on that. family structure. And then education is the same way. It's thought control, and that's where we have to free ourselves. It's why do we have a bell in school, so people can go to the factory, right? That's how it was, first come about. So, but it's what they're teaching. But we always have, the one thing I say about teaching is, I am a student, being the teacher, I'm a student like everybody else. I'm still learning, that never stops. But the real thing about teaching is remembering who you are. It's like everything exists. It's, everybody know who the band Pink Floyd is, right? And we look at the album The Wall, right? You don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. And you really don't if you go within, because it all exists there. And if you look at the refrain of that song, all we are is another brick on the wall. Okay? When you look at that brick, that's you. That is your soul. That's the soul connected to all of that oneness, that group consciousness. So really, we're just a brick in the universe. And we have to look at it, okay, love, and all those laws of right. Because we can create anything we want to. And I thank you for listening.